सैनिक सुद्धा आहे आणि त्या पानिपतच्या युद्धामध्ये पुढाकार होता. असे कार्यकर्ते
Milind Deora and Ekhnath Shinde there at the Varsha bungalow. Let's listen in if there is some commentary going on.
खाली बसून घ्या.
गट्टो
मीडिया आणि कार्यकर्त्यांनी बाजूला सरकावं आणि समोरच्या कॅमेरामॅन्सने खाली बसून घ्यावं विनंती आहे. ज्यांनी महाराष्ट्राला आणि देशाला दाखवून दिलं की आप राजा.
Yasha on the phone line with me. Yasha, so now it's official. We can see both Mr. Deora and Shinde on the screen.
Absolutely. In fact, this was something that had earlier denied. He had Milind Deora is joining his faction, but if he does, he will be more than happy to welcome him in the faction. So here, the fact that Milind Deora is present on the stage, he is present along with Ekhnath Shinde, who is the MP from Shiv Sena faction, Shiv Sena. He's present on the stage, and right next to him we see Milind Deora sitting. On the stage we also see there are several other MLAs from Shiv Sena faction who are present, which includes Rahul Shirale, also several corporators and office bearers, including in the nation and several leaders. Now, these leaders also speak of. Some of these leaders are in fact detected to
Yasha, we can barely hear you over that announcement that is happening from the podium. I'm requesting you to just step away a little from that audio output so that we can hear you clearly. But what Yasha was telling us is what you're seeing on your screen. There's confirmation about Mr. Deora, Milind Deora joining the Ekhnath Shinde faction of Shiv Sena. He's on the stage there accepting greetings, nodding his head, doing a namaskar to all those who are congratulating him for this move. His body language seems very positive. Ekhnath Shinde also sitting there, the Chief Minister of Maharashtra. It is his Shiv Sena which has been recognized as the official Shiv Sena, and now Milind Deora, whose family has had a long association with the Congress party, whose father Murli Deora was invoked by Jairam Ramesh after the news of Milind Deora's quitting Congress came to the social media platform. His long association, the family's long association of 5 decades or more is now ending. Milind Deora there on the stage at the Varsha bungalow, all set to join the Ekhnath Shinde faction of Shiv Sena. Yasha is there and Pallavi Ghosh is also joining me on the broadcast. Pallavi, we are seeing these pictures. Mr. Deora's body language seems quite positive in spite of all the criticism that is being heaped on him by the Congress party.
Yeah, I think it took him a while to take this decision. Frankly speaking, there has been a speculation which has been going on over a year or so whether Milind Deora is actually going to leave the Congress party, because there was a long phase when, especially when he stepped down as a Mumbai Congress chief, when he didn't seem to be doing much. There was a speculation whether he be joining the BJP or the NCP. His first choice, of course, sources tell us, was joining the NCP. But it didn't clearly work out, because I think what he wants to do also is to contest the Lok Sabha election. And a South Mumbai seat is not really up for grabs from the NCP. So he would have only got it if he joins the other side. But many like him don't find a political future in the Congress, especially if they want to get into a hustle and bustle of elections. So I guess his calculation is joining the Shiv Sena, and then if he gets a ticket, contesting from South Mumbai, his old seat, and then in case the BJP forms his government and he is made a cabinet minister, because he has that kind of an administrative experience as well. So I guess he's looking at a political future despite the criticism and some name calling coming in from the Congress.
But Pallavi, your analysis, why Shiv Sena and why not BJP? If he's looking for a future at the centre as a union minister, the choice of his political party now?
Well, I mean, the NCP is in an alliance with the BJP as well. So I think from his point of view, he must have thought that at this point of time, making a jump straight to the BJP may perhaps not work out for him. But he also has Shiv Sena, wherein he has some very good equations with many of them. See, he belongs to one of those quintessential old-style politicians, largely because of his father as well, where he has friends across political parties. So I guess for him, that offer must have come in from Shiv Sena. For him, it made sense join the Shiv Sena. At the end of the day, if he wins and he becomes a part of the government, in case the BJP comes to part of the center, it is eventually the same thing. So there you have a Praful Patel from the NCP.
Right.
You have
Pallavi, give me a
Milind Deora.
moment. Give me a moment, Pallavi, because I can see the visuals on the screen. I think formally being welcomed in. Let me get in Yasha back. Yasha, what's happening? This is the official welcome of Mr. Deora into the Shiv Sena?
Yes, this is the official welcome of Milind Deora into the Shiv Sena. What you see is there are chants for Bala Saheb Thackeray that are being sent. Of course, Milind Deora, when he visited Bala Saheb Thackeray statue this morning, he was very clear that he's accepting Bala Saheb's ideology. And what you see right now is Ekhnath Shinde handing over the flag of Shiv Sena and the Shiv Sena flag on to Milind Deora. This officially means that he has entered the party of Shiv Sena. And amidst all of this, when Milind Deora entered, there were chants towards Milind Deora. Milind Deora supporters were here. In fact, apart from Milind Deora, we see there are several corporators who support Milind Deora, who would also be joining the Ekhnath Shinde faction. Now, let us understand why it is important that these corporators would be joining the Ekhnath Shinde faction. What happens after the Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha election is possibly that BNC elections will also take place by the end of this year or by next year. So some of these supporters who were with Milind Deora, they would also be approximately, there are 6 of them who along with Milind Deora would be switching sides towards the Ekhnath Shinde faction. You see that all of these corporators are also being handed over bouquet by Ekhnath Shinde. When Milind Deora entered, there was support for Milind Deora. Milind Deora was being handed over the Shiv Sena flag. There was chants of Anand Dighe, there were chants of Bala Saheb Thackeray, and there were also chants of Jai Bhavani. This is something that has been very typical of Shiv Sena. And here we see someone who is an old school, like an old school, a seasoned politician from Congress. He switching into Shiv Sena, which was in those days, in Murli Deora's days, father of Milind Deora. In those days, Congress and Shiv Sena were not seen together. They were in fact seen as loggerheads. We've seen Bala Saheb have a very critical point of view about Congress. But here, when you speak of Milind Deora joining Shiv Sena, this is seen a new league, especially for Deora family and for the old school Congress. Yes.
Right, Pallavi, if you're still there, let's elaborate on that a bit. The Deora family's association with Mr. Thackeray's ideology, will that be a problem for Milind Deora now that he has made the switch? He has gone and paid his respect to Bala Saheb Thackeray. Now he's making that switch. History, ideology, will those be an issue at all? Pallavi?
Was that question for me? Yeah. I don't think so. I mean, I think, the fact that his program included first going to Siddhi Vinayak and then, of course, going to pay his tribute to Bala Saheb is his perhaps way of messaging. And these things are usually worked out in advance. As Yesha was correctly pointing out, corporators going by his side to show that it's going to be a fancy and he's not going to be a lone ranger. But more than that, going Thackeray, paying his tribute before he goes to, join the party officially. These are very, very clear signs that he's making, and Ekhnath Shinde Shiv Sena faction is also making that this is the real Shiv Sena, and there's no break from the Bala Saheb Thackeray ideology or his legacy, and that follow that legacy. And I just quickly make the point. I mean, he is again one of those few politicians, especially in Maharashtra, who has had very good equations across political parties. There are many greetings he's getting from leaders from the NCP and all. And in fact, if you listen to some of the Congress leaders, not many are going to be vocal about it, but some of them do accept the fact that it's going to be a loss for them and how they've personally had excellent equations with Milind Deora.
Right. Yesha, what is it that we're expecting? Like you were pointing out, the corporators who have been associated with Milind Deora, they are being welcomed into the Shiv Sena fold as well by none less than the Chief Minister of Maharashtra himself. Are we also expecting some kind of a media address by both the Chief Minister and the newest entrant to Shiv Sena?
Absolutely. In fact, the show has been said once this first survey takes place. That means once all of these people have joined the Ekhnath Shinde faction, what happens next is that both Chief Minister as well as Milind Deora, they would be addressing the media. We see an address because ever since this morning, though Milind Deora has neither directly mentioned that he is joining Ekhnath Shinde faction, nor has Ekhnath Shinde directly acknowledged that that Milind Deora would be joining the Ekhnath Shinde faction. Of course, this was something that was out in open for the last few days, but for a very long time, neither of the leaders they publicly acknowledged. When Milind Deora was asked this question, first thing in the morning when he was stepping out of Shinde Village, he said, "मैं विकास के राह पे चल रहा हूँ." When Ekhnath Shinde was asked, he happened to say that if he wants to join, we'll be welcoming him. So yeah, there has not been a direct address. This was in fact looked as a build up to the main event that was taking place now. So now that the event has taken place, what we see next is both Milind Deora as well as Ekhnath Shinde will be addressing people, because here more than media, it is also the supporters of both the factions who coming. This will be addressed to people and to them to media. Yes.
Right. Pallavi, first we saw Priyanka Chaturvedi, now Milind Deora, two young leaders of the Congress party who were seen to be part of Team Rahul, so to say, or at least part of that young brigade in the Congress party, moving on and joining hands with the Shiv Sena there. Different factions, of course. But could there be more leaders in Maharashtra? A lot of senior leaders in Maharashtra have served in UPA. What future awaits them?
Not just Maharashtra, Arunima, I think there could be a possibility that many other Congress leaders may want to quit from the party. I mean, the elections down the corner. There's a worrying sign, especially those who belong to Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, states like Rajasthan and so on and so forth. They don't find a political future for themselves, and this is something they've always complained about. That election after election we seems to be losing, but there doesn't seem to be a kind of a stock taking place, no lessons learned. But more than that, increasingly inaccessibility of the Gandhis and how there is a team which surrounds Rahul Gandhi, and it's difficult to get an appointment. If you notice the pattern, everyone who's quit from Rahul's team, Jitin Prasad or Rajpal Singh Scindia, they've all had this common complaint. We just did not have access to him. I remember Rahul Gandhi said it inside Parliament that Scindia was very close to me. He could walk into my house without having to ask for an appointment, but he could have told me, I could have given him something. But those who were supporting Jyotiraditya Scindia, and I remember I interviewed him after this, he said, well, when I wanted something, and I never even asked, he should have understood it then. What's the point of offering something when I have quit the Congress?
But does this say anything about Mr. Kharge's leadership as well? On paper, at least, he is the Congress president.
Yes, that is true. But, for all practical purposes, frankly speaking, many of us who cover the Congress party, we see this as a Rahul Gandhi movement where Rahul Gandhi actually dictates and runs the way the party has to be run. And, you're right. I mean, of course, that's a reflection on the ability of the top Congress leadership to keep the talent together. But, Scindia's and Milind Deora's are more known as Rahul's people, and he's not been able to keep his own team. Not only that, not been able to ensure that people of his team are given important positions. I mean, it was an afterthought that he was made a joint treasurer, which we all know means really nothing much as far as the organizational setup is concerned.
Right. Yasha, the timing of this quitting the Congress and joining the Shiv Sena on a day that Bharat Jodo Nyaya Yatra from Manipur to Maharashtra has begun. The day, the time, well thought out?
Absolutely. In fact, like Pallavi has also been mentioning this, it is a well thought out move, and this is something that we also, of course, criticized by several opposition parties and Congress from Maharashtra as well. Because, of course, over the last, like Pallavi has already mentioned, that over the last several weeks, 7 months, there was discussions, there were talks. In fact, approximately a month or two back, there was this buzz that Milind Deora would be joining the Nationalist Congress Party, which is of Ajit Pawar faction. But that did not work out. In fact, the very next day after the Shiv Sena order by the Speaker, there was a clear-cut indication that Milind Deora would be joining the Ekhnath Shinde faction, though a date was not fixed to it as to when he'd be joining. It was known that in the next 1 week or so is where this very development would take place. But it was only late until yesterday and day before yesterday was when some sources came in that Milind Deora would be joining Ekhnath Shinde faction. In fact, most of the people in Maharashtra were aware that it will be Milind Deora will be joining Ekhnath Shinde faction today itself, and which is where we see that this particular development that has taken place today is timely, because we are seeing that Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra is taking place and it's going to end in Mumbai. Now the fact that someone who was seen so close to Rahul Gandhi, when the Yatra ends in Mumbai, Rahul Gandhi would not have some of his close associates right here. That will be something that will be a big blow to Congress. So yeah, of course, it's a well thought of move. Tomorrow we see that Ekhnath Shinde is heading to Davos for an engagement, which will be a economic engagement that Ekhnath Shinde is heading for. He's going to take 50 of his men, 50 of his delegates along with him to Davos. Here, of course, there are discussions that Milind Deora would be a part of that entire entourage. So the fact that Rahul Gandhi's yatra has begun from Imphal, but it's ending in Mumbai, because the point that Mumbai, some of the tall leaders from Mumbai would have been of prime importance to Rahul Gandhi, but when he ends his yatra right here a few days later in Mumbai, he would not have some of his close associates, and like the Baba gang that was being spoken about, Deora family, which is always been close to the Gandhi family. This would be a big blow, of course, to Congress then.
As I'm speaking to you, Yasha, more and more supporters of Milind Deora, I think there are corporators who are also joining the Shiv Sena Shinde faction. Mr. Shinde himself, the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, received a shawl and a pagdi, a turban from those who have recently joined. What are we expecting now? How many corporators are joining with Mr. Milind Deora? You've already explained to us what impact this has on especially Mumbai politics perhaps, but if you could elaborate the impact of what we are seeing, so many supporters also crossing over from the Congress to Shiv Sena.
So yes, this if we speak of the political impact of this, the seat that Milind Deora was holding, he had six close supporters, 6 close corporators along with him. They've all moved to Ekhnath Shinde faction. Now here, when you speak of Maharashtra, politics and election per se, Maharashtra is due for 3 elections over the next 1.5 years. 2 of the elections are of course planned. BMC election has been long overdue. The BMC term has ended for almost 1.5 years. When we speak of BMC for that matter, BMC is something that has always been the stronghold of
Yasha, if you give me a moment, let me